Imagine walking into a house where a staircase leads to a ceiling, a door opens to a wall, and a window looks into another room. Imagine walking through corridors that seem to twist and turn without any clear purpose. Now imagine that this strange house was not created for a movie, a haunted attraction, or a fictional story. It is a real historic mansion in San Jose, California. This is the Winchester Mystery House. For more than 3 decades, one woman continued to build, remodel, and expand this unusual mansion. Her name was Sarah Winchester. And even today, people still ask the same question: why did she build such a strange house? Was she trying to escape ghosts? Was she following the instructions of a mysterious spiritualist? Or was the truth much more ordinary than the legend? To understand the mystery, we first need to understand the woman behind the house. Sarah Lockwood Pardee was born in 1839 in New Haven, Connecticut. She was educated, intelligent, and came from a wealthy family. In 1862, she married William Wirt Winchester. William was the heir to the Winchester Repeating Arms Company, a company famous for producing firearms. The Winchester name would eventually become one of the most recognizable names in American history. But Sarah's life was marked by tragedy. In 1866, Sarah and William had a daughter named Annie. Sadly, the baby died when she was only a few weeks old. Years later, Sarah suffered another devastating loss. In 1881, her husband William died from tuberculosis. After his death, Sarah inherited a massive fortune. She was now one of the wealthiest women in America. But instead of remaining in Connecticut, Sarah eventually moved west. In 1886, she purchased an 8-room farmhouse near San Jose, California. And this is where the story of the Winchester Mystery House truly begins. According to the most famous legend, Sarah was deeply troubled after the deaths of her daughter and husband. The story says that she visited a spiritualist, someone who claimed to communicate with the spirit world. According to the legend, Sarah was told that the spirits of people killed by Winchester rifles were angry with her family. The story says that Sarah was told to move west and build a house for herself and the spirits. And there was supposedly one important rule. She had to keep building. As long as construction continued, the spirits would supposedly leave her alone. If the construction ever stopped, the legend claimed that Sarah would die. This story has become one of the most famous parts of the Winchester Mystery House. But there is an important detail that many people forget. There is no confirmed evidence that this conversation with a spiritualist actually happened. Sarah Winchester never publicly explained that she was building the house to protect herself from ghosts. The story became popular later, and over time, it became part of the mystery surrounding her home. So what do we actually know? We know that Sarah bought the farmhouse in 1886. We know that construction and remodeling continued for approximately 36 years. And we know that the original farmhouse slowly transformed into an enormous and unusual mansion. The house was constantly changing. Walls were added. Rooms were redesigned. Staircases were built and rebuilt. Doors were moved. New sections were connected to older parts of the house. There was no simple blueprint that explains the entire mansion. Instead, the house grew over decades. At its largest, the Winchester estate was enormous. The mansion contained hundreds of rooms and thousands of architectural features. It had dozens of staircases, countless windows, multiple kitchens, bathrooms, chimneys, skylights, and doors. Some of the most famous features of the house are the strange staircases. One staircase appears to lead directly into the ceiling. Another seems to go nowhere. Some stairs are extremely narrow and have very low steps. For a modern visitor, these staircases can seem almost impossible to understand. Then there are the doors. Some doors open into walls. Some doors lead to unexpected places. Some windows appear to look into other rooms instead of outside. Hallways can suddenly stop or change direction. And this unusual design is one of the main reasons the mansion became famous. But were these strange features really designed to confuse ghosts? That is one of the most popular theories. According to the legend, Sarah Winchester believed that spirits could not find her if the house was confusing enough. A maze of hallways, doors, staircases, and rooms would supposedly make it impossible for ghosts to reach her. It is a fascinating story. But once again, there is no confirmed proof that this was Sarah's actual plan. There may be much simpler explanations for some of the strange architecture. The mansion was under construction and remodeling for decades. Rooms were changed. Sections were added. Old designs were replaced by new ones. Construction projects can become complicated, especially when a building continues to expand over many years. And then, in 1906, a massive earthquake struck San Francisco and the surrounding region. The earthquake caused serious damage to the Winchester mansion. Parts of the house were damaged, including the tall tower and upper levels. The mansion was already an unusual maze, and the earthquake made its history even more complicated. Some sections were never rebuilt exactly as they had been before. So the house we see today is the result of decades of construction, remodeling, damage, and change. But Sarah Winchester was not simply building a random house. The mansion also contained many beautiful and carefully designed details. There were elegant Victorian rooms, decorative woodwork, stained glass, expensive materials, and impressive craftsmanship. Some parts of the house show careful planning and artistic design. This is one reason the Winchester Mystery House is so fascinating. It is not just a strange building. It is also a historic mansion filled with beautiful architecture. Another interesting question is why Sarah continued building for so long. The popular ghost story gives one explanation. But there may have been other reasons. Sarah was extremely wealthy and had the financial freedom to continue construction for decades. She may have enjoyed architecture and design. She may have liked changing her home. She may have wanted to create something unique. She may also have believed in spiritual ideas that we cannot fully understand today. The truth is that Sarah Winchester was a private person. She did not leave behind a complete explanation of every decision she made. And because she did not clearly explain the purpose of the strange design, people began creating their own theories. Some believed the house was designed to confuse ghosts. Others believed the numbers and symbols throughout the house had secret meanings. Some stories even claim that Sarah consulted spirits every night about the construction of the mansion. But these stories are difficult to prove. This is where the difference between fact and legend becomes important. The facts are already fascinating. Sarah Winchester was a wealthy widow who moved across the country. She purchased a farmhouse in California. She continued to remodel and expand the property for 36 years. The house became enormous and unusual. A major earthquake damaged parts of it. And Sarah lived a very private life. The legends added ghosts, spirits, secret messages, and supernatural explanations. But perhaps the real mystery is that we do not know exactly where the facts end and the stories begin. Sarah Winchester died on September 5, 1922. With her death, the construction of the mansion finally came to an end. After her death, the property was sold and eventually opened to the public. Over the years, the Winchester Mystery House became one of America's most famous unusual homes. Visitors came to see the strange staircases, unexpected doors, unusual windows, and complicated corridors. The mansion became a place where history and mystery came together. Today, people visit the Winchester Mystery House for many different reasons. Some are interested in architecture. Some are fascinated by Sarah Winchester's life. Some want to explore the mysterious stories connected to the mansion. And others simply want to see a house unlike anything they have ever seen before. But one question continues to attract people: did Sarah Winchester really build the house to protect herself from spirits? The answer is still unknown. There is no proven evidence that the house was built as a supernatural maze. At the same time, the strange design makes it easy to understand why the legend became so popular. When you see a staircase that seems to go nowhere, a door that leads to an unexpected place, or a hallway that suddenly changes direction, your imagination naturally begins to create explanations. Maybe the house was simply the result of decades of construction. Maybe Sarah changed her plans again and again. Maybe she enjoyed creating unusual spaces. Or maybe there was a reason that we will never fully understand. And that is what makes the Winchester Mystery House so different from an ordinary historic building. It is a place where every strange feature creates another question. Why was this staircase built? Why was this door placed here? Why does this window look into another room? Why did construction continue for so many years? And why did Sarah Winchester never clearly explain the complete story? Perhaps the most interesting mystery is not whether the house is haunted. Perhaps the real mystery is the woman who built it. Sarah Winchester had incredible wealth, suffered tremendous personal loss, moved across the country, and spent decades creating one of the most unusual homes in America. We may never know exactly what she believed or what she intended. But we do know that her house became a part of American history. Today, the Winchester Mystery House remains a historic landmark and one of the most unusual homes in the United States. It is part architectural puzzle, part historical story, and part mystery. Some of its legends may be true. Others may have grown over time. But the house itself is real, and its strange history continues to fascinate people more than 100 years after Sarah Winchester's death. So what do you think? Was Sarah Winchester really trying to protect herself from spirits? Was the strange design simply the result of decades of construction and remodeling? Or do you think there was a deeper reason behind the mysterious house? The truth may never be completely known. And perhaps that is exactly why the mystery continues. This is the Winchester Mystery House, one of America's strangest historic homes. And this is just one of the many incredible stories hidden across the United States. If you enjoyed this mystery, subscribe to Wait America? For more fascinating places, strange stories, and unbelievable facts from America.